If you're the kind of leader who easily creates a sense of belonging within your team, words like charismatic, empathetic, people magnet have been used to describe you. You have that ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions, as well as recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of those around you. The probabilities are high that you have high emotional insight, and the qualities that you possess are going to outlast your years of service in that office. So in this video, we are going to discuss how emotional intelligence enhances your influence as a leader, and if you really need it, and if it is truly the end all be all in leadership. Hi, welcome back to my channel, and a very, very big welcome to my new subscribers. My name is Nancy, and this is the place where I discuss topics on matters leadership, professional growth, and career advancement. I'm just going to give you a background story. A little over 12 years ago, I was promoted to my very, very first leadership role. And this is something that came to me as a pleasant surprise, but with serious learning points attached to it. My body was ready. I was excited, but my mind and heart was still naive, too excited even, and I needed to grow up fast. There were serious emotional adjustments that I needed to make, and until now, I cannot shout loud enough how my inner circle cushioned me through these seasons of growth, making it easy now for me to preach my own sermon. I've since authored 3 books, the most recent being Lead Outwardly Loud, and I've also transitioned into full-time entrepreneurship, founding an online program on workplace leadership, specifically to help women transition into leadership roles, being both physically and emotionally ready with a healthy mindset to build their legacy from the get-go. So if this is the kind of content that speaks to you, kindly consider subscribing and pressing the bell, and you will be notified whenever I release a new video. When you create a safe work environment for your team members, they're going to feel empowered. They're going to take calculated risks. They're going to voice their concerns and opinions, respectfully so, and even suggest ideas that can move the organization forward and upward. So to some people, this comes easily, and that's great. You're part of the small percentage, because for most of us, this is a work in progress. And that's why you'll find that some leaders easily attract happy teams. This is just a case of personality types, when others, it might be a bit of an uphill task. There's this African proverb that says, you cannot be bitten by a snake that you can see. So your blind spots are only so until that veil is lifted. And this is where self-assessment comes into play. You want to address anything that could rob you of that good legacy that we're talking about at work. So if you feel like you're running low on emotional intelligence, but you're not sure there are a few things that you want to look out for. Just a few examples. Do you believe that being liked at work is a little bit overrated? Maybe you are the I say you do kind of boss, kind of leader, where your word is final, whether other people struggle with it or not. And you've even convinced yourself that you don't have to be liked. For you, it's all about results. And then you find that you are genuinely surprised when others are sensitive to your comments, and you feel like they're actually overreacting. If they could just listen a little longer, they'd get your jokes. Do you hold others to the same high expectations that you hold for yourself, and you struggle around those who show emotions easily? Maybe you are the kind of person who always has someone in your team on standby to blame for the issues that arise within the team. But when it comes to receiving compliments, and compliments come your way, you take full ownership. Or you feel like your team members take just a minute too long to fulfill your demands, to fulfill any direction that you give them. And you can see they feel your impatience, they feel your frustration, but you'd care less, knowing that you leave that demeaning aftertaste in their mouths. Emotional intelligence is a double-edged sword. You do not want to have too little of it, but you want to have it in excess. A very high dosage has its drawbacks too. Much as you are safer when the seesaw leans towards the high emotional quotient other than the other way around. It's just a case of intrapersonal, which is basically internal dialogue with yourself, connecting with your inner man, and interpersonal communication between you and other people. And self-assessment plays a very, very big role here in leveraging these percentage levels. On one end, you may be really good at building strong relationships, working with your team members. But now, when it comes to self-reflection, you want to ask yourself, if your role demanded it of you, would you be unconventional enough to challenge the status quo and be labeled as a nonconformist? On a scale of 1 to 10, how often do you follow your heart without feeling like you're going against the grain? Having high emotional intelligence can make you reluctant to ruffle people's feathers. This can sometimes play against you. Just think of the moments when you have to have those difficult conversations with your team members. You have someone within your team whom you know is an underperformer, but they are not aware of it. Or even the moments when you have to make unpopular decisions, choices that are going to bring the necessary change within the organization. Things like suspension of a team member pending investigation, restructuring within the organization, dismissals. There are livelihoods that have to be considered in this context. And then you'll notice with high emotional intelligence, it is very easy to put weight on your social skills, focusing heavily on emotional aspects, all the while neglecting logical arguments. High emotional intelligence can make you a master manipulator because you know which buttons to press to bring out specific emotions from people. So you want to be extremely mindful at all times where people's feelings are involved. Authenticity trumps diplomacy, especially when you want tangible change and growth within the workforce. So if you're the kind of person who obsesses over having high emotional intelligence, you might find yourself working with people who are too careful even to deliver. Then you find yourself struggling to give constructive feedback because you also could be struggling yourself. You don't know how to receive criticism, and this is the fastest way to lower creativity levels within the group. Going through this video, you can tell how high or low or medium your levels of emotional intelligence are. Any strategy to strengthen your emotional stamina is going to determine how you show up at work, how many lives you are going to genuinely impact, how strong of a team you are going to have, born of mutual trust. So if we use Daniel Goleman's model for self-assessment purposes, you want to ask yourself these questions as we go through this video. Number one, what does self-awareness mean to me personally? You probably found yourself lashing out at your peers, your team members, and no one retaliates. So your team has to operate on eggshells when they're around you. You even notice them adjusting their body language when you unexpectedly walk into the room. Put yourself under the microscope. Are there elements in your past, elements in your present that could cause you to act this way? It could be hurts that are yet to be addressed, because if your only tool is a hammer, you'll see every problem as a nail. So you want to be aware of your emotions, how you feel throughout the day, what situations provoke what reactions in you, and then challenge yourself by asking a few people around you to observe and call you out when necessary. And at this point, you want to accept the feedback without being defensive and consciously work through it to become a better person. The more aware you are of your emotions, the easier it's going to be to work around it and, to work around them and put into consideration the impact of your words and actions towards others. Then at number two, how do you manage your emotions? And this is especially in challenging situations. There could be internal and external factors that lead to this emotional downturn. For example, and God forbid, you're going through a personal battle, a loss, an illness, breakup, situations that challenge your emotional stability, and you can only have so many compassionate days off to recover if you have to put food on the table? How would you go about maintaining a positive attitude even in the face of adversity? Are there healthy ways that you have used in the past to cope with the pain, to cope with the stress, to cope with the anger, and had productive results? My mentor always says there is power in pain if only you can harness it. And then at number 3, we're going to apply the rule of empathy. And this is where you consciously try to put yourself in other people's shoes without dismissing your own emotions. Remember, you're most useful to an organization when you are in the best shape emotionally. Are you able to analyze situations from both standpoints? Your concerns, the concerns of your team members. Is there common ground where you can take both sides into consideration and leave everyone feeling seen, heard, and respected? And then at number 4, relationship management. There are historical figures who are known to have had such ease in building strong relationships with people from all walks of life. They were able to unite their country behind a common cause. So as a leader, you want to be able to form those deep connections with your team members such that you understand intrinsically that you can navigate challenges within the organization, but from a symbiotic standpoint. I help you, you help me. I hold you, you hold me. You're always as strong as your weakest link. So why not strengthen and empower all your team members? And this means that you will have to upgrade your active listening skills. Listen to your team members to understand their point of view, even if you don't agree with them. You might have been the kind of person who shoots other people's ideas before they could complete their thought process. There is a difference between not saying anything and giving others a chance to convey their ideas before you jump in. And then at number 5, how mindful are you of your communication? The way you relate with your teams can have such a huge impact on how others perceive you. Here we are talking body language, we're talking your tone of voice, we're talking your word choice. You want to be consciously aware of the gap between what you mean to say and what others actually hear. For example, you start getting impatient with your team members for not understanding the assignments fast enough. But when you say something, when the moment you speak, something comes out like, if I can understand it, anyone can. You might have just referred to your team members in so many words that their thinking capacity is below average. And what they're going to hear, what they're going to understand is they are not smart enough to get whatever instructions that you are giving them. Or the moments when you say, I don't honestly understand what the big deal is, and your team members are thinking, does this person really care about how we feel? The more you underestimate the negative impact your words have on others, your words have on your team members, the larger the gap is going to widen. Just consider the impression you want to make on others, how you want them to feel, and then how you'd frame your message so that you can reach that objective. The main reason behind enhancing your influence through emotional intelligence is because people work well with people they like. It reduces unnecessary friction, allowing for positive growth on both sides. So how does your emotional intelligence, emotional quotient enhance your influence as a leader? With emotional intelligence, you will be able to tailor your communication style to the needs of your team members. Now that you're mindful of how your messages are received, you can key into the verbal and the non-verbal cues from your team members, and foster that open two-way communication. Then at number 2, when leading teams, different personality types are involved, so conflict cannot be avoided. With strong emotional intelligence, you are better equipped to navigate and effectively manage these conflicts by staying cool, calm, collected, understanding the different perspectives, and finding that common ground for growth. Your capacity to attract positive outcomes is going to come from listening and understanding your team's needs rather than imposing your demands on them. And a good example of this is Nelson Mandela, who was such as skilled negotiator. This is someone who managed to bring people together from different walks of life and achieve a common goal. And then number 3, with emotional intelligence, you can tap into the emotions of your team members. Use positive reinforcement, empathy, and vision to inspire and motivate your team members. And this emotional connection is going to help drive commitment. It's going to help drive productivity. It's going to make it easier for you to influence the behavior and achieve collective goals. This is something that Martin Luther King Jr. was really, really good at. He was a gifted orator, and this made it easy to connect with people at a very deep emotional level. This is someone whose strong emotional intelligence enabled him to build such powerful movement for social change and mobilize millions and millions of people to fight for justice and equality. Then at number 4, emotional intelligence is going to help you build trust and credibility with your team members instead of eroding it. When people feel valued and understood, trust is going to be cultivated. And this is what makes the difference between a leader with the interests of their teammates at heart and those who are less emotionally aware. If you enjoyed this video, I also have this one right here on how to be mentally fit in a leadership role. It goes hand in hand with emotional intelligence. So just have a look at it when you have a moment. Thank you very much for your company, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.